Michael showed the exact moment they changed. You were too distracted to notice. At 3:13 a.m., the veil lifted. The hour was not random. The sky did not shift by chance. The silence of the earth was pregnant with prophecy, and while your body may have been still, your spirit stirred. It was in that very moment, in that thin sliver of eternal night, that heaven recorded what earth missed. For at precisely 3:13 a.m., they changed. The shift was not loud. It was not violent. It did not come with thunder or wind or a broken cry. No, it came quietly, like breath leaving the lungs of someone who has already made up their mind. Archangel Michael, the guardian of divine justice, stood as witness when they shifted the moment your attention turned elsewhere. You thought you had more time. You thought you could trust what you felt yesterday. But by the time you blinked, by the time your focus shifted, they had already become someone else. You didn't see it, but heaven did. This wasn't random. This wasn't chaotic rebellion. It was orchestrated, permitted, and even strategically aligned with your destiny. There was a permission slip in the spiritual realm, a divine allowance for truth to reveal itself without your permission. You were in motion, but something behind you fell still. A spirit disconnected. A mask slid into place. Their loyalty expired. And though their face still looked the same, their essence was no longer aligned with yours. Only a few will catch this. This message is not for everyone. Some will scroll past it, unable to hear what the heavens are urgently whispering. But if your spirit leapt when you saw the title, if something in you tightened, paused, or remembered, then you were one of the few. The heavens have chosen to break protocol and speak directly to you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are marked. But the condition still stands. The truth can only be fully seen in silence. Not in the noise of distraction. Not in the chatter of betrayal. Not in the echo chambers of offense or confusion. The truth has always been there, but only in the deep, reverent stillness does it begin to form. And when it forms, it breaks illusions. You missed the moment because you were distracted. Your heart was loyal, your attention was busy, your spirit was weary. But heaven saw everything. Heaven recorded what they said. Heaven recorded what they thought. Heaven recorded what they hid. And now, the record is being revealed. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. It came to you unexpectedly, in a whisper, in a stillness, in the quiet between waking and sleep. Perhaps it was a dream. Perhaps it was a jolt at midnight, or the sudden urge to sit up in a dark room without knowing why. But it wasn't coincidence. It wasn't just your imagination. That interruption, that fracture in normalcy, that was Michael. The archangel himself entered not through your doorway, but through your discernment. He came not to speak to your ears, but to your spirit. And in that sacred moment, something moved through you that was not of this world. Time slowed, breath stilled, and in that hush, you were touched, marked, sealed for divine instruction. Not everyone saw him. Not everyone heard him. But you did. Deep down, you did. You've been trying to explain it to yourself, haven't you? Trying to put language to what your soul already knew. Something happened. This is your confirmation. Michael came because heaven has need of your attention. He came not to inform you, but to awaken you. Because the moment they changed, something eternal shifted. Something silent. Something sacred. You weren't wrong to feel the distance. You weren't wrong to sense the turning. You weren't wrong to question the glances, the silence, the strange timing. Heaven is now validating the weight you've been carrying. Within the next 48 hours, the signs will repeat. Hear this now. This message is a divine interruption. This is not meant to soothe your comfort. It is meant to disturb your distraction, to pull you away from the artificial and recenter you into the supernatural. If you're listening to this, then your name was seen. Your prayers were registered. Your name was spoken in the halls of fire. You have been weighed and found chosen. What you thought was just confusion was actually revelation being born. What you called overthinking was spiritual intel being delivered. You weren't overreacting, you were being alerted. Because the veil between truth and lies is razor thin in this hour, and only those with heaven's sensitivity will catch what is coming next. You see, many are spiritually blind because they've trained themselves to only see what agrees with their comfort. But not you. You endured the pruning. You've tasted the silence of isolation. You've walked through seasons of contradiction. You are not just aware, you are spiritually awake. And that awakening was necessary because the change that occurred was not small. It was not innocent. It was a shift in alignment, a surrender to another spirit, a transition in loyalty that happened in the shadows. And you were too occupied to witness it with your eyes, but your spirit trembled at the breach. Michael revealed the timeline to protect you, not to destroy the image of who you trusted, but to prepare you for what is no longer true. This isn't about bitterness. This isn't about revenge. This is about clarity. You must understand this. The change was not an accident. It was a signal. A signal that your elevation triggered discomfort. A signal that your presence agitated familiar spirits. A signal that you have crossed into new spiritual territory, and the old attachments could not follow. You are not just passing through a hard moment. You are being repositioned. You are not simply healing. You are being hardened for a divine assignment. This message comes to remove the fog from your vision, because the time to mourn what change is over. The time to discern what is present has begun. You are chosen, not as a title, but as a position. You are sealed, not with man's affirmation, but with heaven's authority. You are marked, not by visible signs, but by spiritual rank. And the enemy knows it. That's why the moment you became distracted, they changed. Because distraction disconnects you from discernment. But Michael has come to reconnect you. You are not here by mistake. The timing of this message is not a coincidence. It is a summons, a call into awareness, a call to pick up the sword of silence and the shield of discernment. Everything you sensed you weren't wrong. Your intuition was not paranoia. Your suspicions were not ego. Your unsettledness was a divine echo sounding off in your soul. And now, it is time to act on it. This is not a drill. This is not a suggestion. This is a call to position yourself. The watchers are watching. The atmosphere is shifting. And you, chosen one, have just been handed the moment that changes everything. Michael showed the moment. Now you must act on it. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. They looked the same. They smiled the same. They laughed at the right times and responded in all the usual tones. But something in their spirit no longer matched the rhythm of your soul. You tried to overlook it. You told yourself you were imagining things. But the truth is you were feeling what they were hiding. Something shifted. A wall was built that wasn't there before. A coldness settled in their tone. Their eyes, once present and full of warmth, now scanned past you. Your presence felt near, but their spirit had already departed. You reached for them, not physically, but spiritually, and all you felt was distance. They hadn't left the room, but they had left the alignment. It wasn't one big event that gave it away. It was a sequence of tiny betrayals, a hesitation in their replies, a delay in their responses, a passive dismissal of your spiritual victories. They no longer celebrated your growth. In fact, every time you rose, you felt a strange discomfort from them, a disconnect, a silence that was louder than any word spoken. You noticed it. You did. But you were loyal. You were patient. You were hoping it would pass. But what you didn't realize was that while you were hoping, they were shifting. There were watchers around you. Not just people, spirits, listeners, observers, hidden spectators, quietly analyzing your light. Spirits drawn not by love, but by envy cloaked as loyalty. They didn't say it, but their energy told on them. The subtle sighs, the minimized compliments, the way they changed the subject when your blessings were mentioned. You were surrounded by people whose mouths spoke support, but whose spirits could no longer tolerate your presence. And you felt it. You felt the glitch in your spirit. You felt the uneasiness in their company. You couldn't explain it, but after every interaction, you felt tired, drained, uncertain. That's spiritual datum. That's how the Holy Spirit speaks, not in logic, but in energy, in peace, in quiet warnings you must not ignore. You asked yourself, why did things suddenly feel different? Why do I feel like I have to explain myself now? Why do I feel watched but not seen? Those aren't random thoughts. That's revelation. And Michael has come to confirm what you've already sensed. You weren't wrong. Your discernment didn't fail you. You just lacked the courage to confront the truth it showed you. You were distracted when it happened. Not by sin, not by rebellion, but by your own faithfulness. You were tending to your garden. You were healing. You were pursuing righteousness. And in that moment, while you were focused on becoming, they changed. Quietly, inwardly, deeply. Their loyalty expired when your growth exceeded their comfort. And perhaps you remember the moment, don't you? The exact moment something in your gut twisted. You were laughing, then suddenly, silence. You were sharing your heart, then suddenly, withdrawal. That was it. That was a breach. That was a precise second when their spirit disconnected. But you were too loving to name it, too faithful to admit it. And so you stayed. You engaged it. You prayed. You convinced yourself it would align again. But Michael showed the moment. And now, you cannot unsee it. This is not about hating them. This is not about revenge. This is about recognizing when alignment breaks and not staying longer than the assignment. Because when God reveals a shift, He is also revealing a reassignment, a calling to a new circle, a new clarity, and a new level of isolation that is protection in disguise. The Holy Spirit says, you felt it but you brushed it off. But now is the time to revisit that moment. Because in that moment, heaven witnessed the shift. And now so must you. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more divine insights, spiritual direction, and prophetic clarity. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2111 is now surrounding you. You thought it was personal. You thought it was about an offense, a misunderstanding, or an emotional withdrawal. But no, this was never merely relational. This was spiritual. The change that occurred was not rooted in earthly tension. It was born from spiritual warfare. The moment you stepped deeper into your calling, the moment you broke old cycles, the moment your prayers began to shake foundations, their spirit could no longer walk beside you in agreement. Jealousy is not always loud. Envy does not always speak. Sometimes, it simply sits beside you, applauding politely while hoping you fall privately. The spirit of envy does not confront, it conspires. It lingers. It smiles. And then it pulls away in silence. That's what happened. That's what Michael came to expose. The shift wasn't just emotional, it was demonic interference. Because your presence carried too much oil, your obedience revealed their stagnation. Your fire made their compromise too visible. So they retreated, not because of what you did, but because of who you were becoming. They weren't equipped to handle your rising. Your light triggered their shadows. Your discernment made their duplicity uncomfortable. You've always wondered why certain people pulled away the moment you started healing, glowing, praying more, posting less, elevating in private. It's because your spiritual growth disrupted the comfort of their dysfunction. You became a mirror, and some people would rather break the mirror than face what it reflects. But listen closely now. You are under divine watch. Heaven has not only been watching over you, it's been recording every reaction around you. The eye of God does not miss a sigh, a whisper, or a silent betrayal. And when the records are opened, the truth can no longer be denied. You are not just being isolated. You are being consecrated. The pain of their distance is actually the womb of your elevation. God is not removing people. He is removing permissions. Permissions for them to walk where your anointing can no longer allow. Because you are rising. And with every level comes a new protocol of spiritual clarity. This is not just personal. It is prophetic. Your life has a scroll. Your name carries weight. Your movement shakes things in the spirit. And that means some losses are necessary. Painful, yes, but prophetic. So take heart. Do not mourn what could not go with you. Your light exposed what needed to flee. Your glory pushed out what was hiding. And now, the remnant that remains will be the ones assigned to your destiny, not your comfort. The conflict you experienced was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine your discernment. The rejection you endured was not random. It was realignment. And now you're ready. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3131 has now been released over your life. The change was not the end. It was a beginning. Hear this clearly. What happened was not the climax, but the ignition point of something deeper, darker, and more deliberate. Heaven is not just revealing that they shifted. Heaven is now alerting you that they are not done shifting. The spiritual breach that occurred at 3:13 a.m. was not just a moment of misalignment. It was the beginning of a plot, a whisper in the atmosphere, a trigger of things yet unseen. Within the next 72 hours, something will be said. Something will be done. It may not come directly to you. No, the enemy rarely moves in straight lines. It may come through a third party, a strange conversation, an offhand comment, a message that feels accidental but lands like a blow. Pay attention to what comes through others. Because the serpent rarely bites in the open. It coils in corners and strikes through mounds that appear innocent. Michael is not here simply to comfort. He is here to warn. There is a spiritual forecast, and it is not sunny. The air is thick with whispers. There is a plot forming in the shadows, a plan shaped in envy and coated in flattery. Someone has rehearsed how they'll spin the story. Someone has already decided what version of events they will present. And if you are not spiritually prepared, you will be tempted to react. But hear this. You must not respond how they expect you to. Do not let them pull you into their storm. Do not let them bait you into emotion, into proof, into retaliation. Because while they plot in secret, heaven is strategizing in silence. What they say behind closed doors, God will expose in due time, not by your hand, but by His. And when He does it, it will be undeniable. This is the hour of restraint, the hour of stillness, the hour to lean into discernment and not default into defense. There is more happening than you know. There are spirits attached to this conflict, spirits of confusion, division, accusation, and sabotage. They move like people, but they operate in shadows. And if you're not careful, you'll war with the puppet instead of the puppet master. Don't waste energy on the visible when this is spiritual. Michael says, listen more than you speak. Withdraw more than you explain. Fast more than you fight. Because there is a heavenly surveillance underway. The divine courtroom is in session. And every word you say from this moment forward will echo in the spirit realm. So guard your tongue. Guard your silence. Guard your peace. What you feel stirring is not paranoia. It's prophetic sensitivity. You are catching signals from the spirit world. You are perceiving the next movement before it manifests. That is not a curse, that is a gift. But with that gift comes a weight, a responsibility, a demand for wisdom. So prepare your heart, prepare your response, prepare your altar. Get still in prayer. Be sensitive to who you engage with. Do not vent to the wrong people. Do not seek validation in the wrong voices. Because not everyone who listens is loyal, and not every silence is safe. The confrontation is coming, not necessarily to destroy you but to test you. Heaven is watching not only what they do, but how you handle it. Will you maintain your posture? Will you preserve your peace? Will you prove that your growth has roots? Because your reaction will determine the release. This is a moment of divine measurement. God is measuring your character under pressure. He's watching how you respond when you're misread, misunderstood, misrepresented. He's watching what you do when you could lash out but instead lean into Him. You're not being ignored. You're being inspected. You're not being delayed. You're being developed. The storm that's forming will not consume you. It will crown you, if you let it. But you must stay hidden in obedience, covered in wisdom, anchored in silence. This is not the time to explain. This is the time to endure. Because in just a little while, everything hidden will be revealed, and every crooked tongue will be silenced by the hand of God, not yours. Type I am guarded in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5151 is now covering your life. Michael now speaks not only as a messenger, but as a protector. You have received the warning. You have heard the whisper. You now stand in a moment where heaven surrounds you, and divine strategy is being released. And the first instruction is this: withdraw. Not in fear, not in defeat, but in strategy. Withdraw, not because you are losing, but because heaven is responding on your behalf. This is the season where stillness will be your sword. Your refusal to engage is your shield. Your silence is not weakness. It is a weapon forged in wisdom. Michael says, "Step back, so heaven can step in, because angels have already been dispatched. Swords have been drawn in the spirit. There are movements happening above you, movements that do not require your permission, only your obedience. This is your moment to move in quiet power. There is no need for loud declarations, no need to defend what heaven has already affirmed. You must understand, what's happening around you is not just about people, it is about positioning. And sometimes, God must let things fall apart in front of you so He can reposition who is truly for you. Be still, not passive, but prayerfully still. This is an active stillness, the kind that watches, records, and listens. Document what happens. Journal the shifts. Record the confirmations. Because the Lord is about to make a clear distinction between those who are with you and those who were simply near you. And while they move in whispers, you move in worship. While they conspire, you consecrate. While they spread confusion, you build your altar. Because your strength is not in your voice right now, your strength is in your discipline, and your restraint is making hell tremble. Heaven says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." But understand this, that doesn't mean the weapon won't be formed. It means it will fail because of your posture. Your peace will confuse the enemy. Your joy will frustrate their plan. Your silence will dismantle their schemes. Angels are encamping around you, not just to comfort you, but to war. They are standing in places you cannot see. They are intercepting words before they land. They are redirecting assignments meant to sabotage your momentum. You are not alone in this. You are guarded by heaven's fiercest warriors. But even in this covering, you must obey divine instruction. Do not reach out to them. Do not seek closure. Do not chase clarity from those who never planned to give it. Your clarity is coming from the Spirit, not from broken sources. Let the dead bury the dead. You are moving forward with fire. Repeat these affirmations daily. I am covered. I am guarded. I am advancing in silence. Because repetition is a spiritual weapon. And the more you speak truth, the more you activate heaven's alignment around you. Michael instructs you to observe without absorbing. Watch the patterns. Listen to their fruits. See who God is exposing without bitterness. Because this is not about proving who was wrong, it's about proving that God is right to elevate you. Let peace be your proof. Let discipline be your defense. Let divine presence be your perimeter. You are now walking through a season of spiritual strategy, and those who misread your silence will underestimate your authority. But heaven knows. Heaven sees. And heaven moves in perfect justice. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now activated over your life. You are not the same person they betrayed. You are not the same soul who sat silently in confusion, questioning your worth because of their distance. You are not the same heart that longed for explanation, validation, or rescue. No, you've been remade. You've been forged in the fire of abandonment, reshaped by silence, and baptized in the furnace of spiritual awakening. What was meant to break you has only built you. The betrayal didn't end you. It introduced you to who you truly are. You must now understand. The distraction that blinded you during their shift was the very tool God used to protect your innocence. You weren't weak, you were protected from knowing too much too soon. Had you seen what they were doing in real time, your heart might have retaliated in the flesh. But God veiled your eyes so he could preserve your spirit. And now that he has shown you, not just what they did, but who you've become, you are ready. You are no longer begging for peace, you carry it. You are no longer pleading for approval, you walk in authority. The same people who thought you would fall without them are now watching you rise without looking back. You've grown through what was designed to distract you. And that growth wasn't accidental. It was supernatural. You have emerged as one who has been tested by shadow and still chose light. Your tears were seeds. Your pain was permission. Your silence was strength. And now, your identity is not shaped by what they did to you. It is revealed by how you responded. You responded with dignity, with grace, with restraint, and the heavens took note. You didn't curse. You didn't expose. You didn't retaliate. You rose. Michael stands now, not just as a revealer, but as a celebrant of your emergence. He saw the warfare. He stood in the background as daggers were thrown your way. And still, you stood. Heaven watched you pass every test, not with perfection, but with purity of heart. You didn't seek revenge. You sought clarity. And in that, you were elevated. Do not mourn the ones who changed. Do not grieve the hands that released you. Instead, rejoice, because in their departure, your wings were freed. A betrayal unshackled you from environments that no longer reflected your identity. The shift they made was heaven's way of announcing your becoming. You are rising now, not as the version of you they once knew, but as the anointed version they never anticipated. You've been clothed in a new mantle. You've been adorned with a new sound. There's a roar in you now, not a scream of desperation, but the sound of dominion. You are the lion in the field. You are the eagle in the storm. You are the voice in the silence. And that voice has power. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you are still wounded. Let them speak from the memory of who you were. Because what they remember is no longer who you are. That version is gone. That version has been resurrected as something more, something untouchable, something divine. And no whisper, no rumor, no manipulation will reach the heights God is calling you to. This is your shift toward empowerment, not arrogance, not revenge, but holy, radiant, fire-tested empowerment. You no longer move to be seen. You move because you've been sent. You no longer reach out hoping to be heard. You walk forward knowing you've been commissioned. You don't need closure when God has given you a calling. You don't need answers when heaven has given you an assignment. So rise. Rise with authority. Rise with power. Rise with confidence that the breaking prepared you, the silence built you, and the betrayal activated your assignment. Type "I am becoming" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8881 is now working in your favor. Now the Spirit reveals what was hidden, not just what happened, but why it had to happen. The betrayal was not random. The shift was not accidental. This moment, this deep and unsettling exposure, was not designed to wound you. It was divinely orchestrated to uncover what had been cloaked in illusion. For so long, you moved among them unaware. You poured out your oil into cracked vessels. You shared secrets in the company of silent saboteurs. You sowed love into soil that could never bear fruit. And heaven, in mercy, allowed you to walk blindly, only until the appointed hour. But when your name echoed in the heavenlies, when your scroll was opened and your time arrived, the illusion had to break. And it broke. Not with a shout, but with a subtle turn, a change in tone, a shift in posture, a moment of distance. That was not the enemy stealing from you. That was God saving you. The betrayal with the vehicle. The heartbreak with the wake-up call. Because had they not changed, you might have remained. Had they not turned, you might have stayed. But when they shifted, the Holy Spirit stepped in. And when Michael revealed it, your eyes opened. Not to bunny, but to position. Your growth required this loss. Your elevation demanded this separation. The anointing on your life could not coexist with hidden envy, subtle sabotage, or compromised alliances. You couldn't see it then, but now it's clear. What felt like abandonment was divine realignment. What felt like rejection was heaven's redirection. What felt like silence was God shouting in strategy. Michael shows you now that this moment is not about them. It's about you. It's about your name being seen in the Spirit. There's a scroll in heaven, and on it is your name, not written in ink but in fire. Your name has come up in the conversations of angels. Your obedience has triggered movement in the spirit realm. Your consistency in the dark has qualified you for elevation in the light. What's coming next will not look like what you lost. What's coming next will not resemble what you released. Heaven is bringing divine compensation. Doors are opening. Platforms are being prepared. Voices are being raised in your favor. And it's not because you sought it. It's because you endured. It's because you remained faithful in the silence. It's because you let God fight for you. They thought the betrayal would break you, but it built you. They thought the shift would disqualify you, but it launched you. They thought their silence would stop your voice, but it refined your sound. And now the heavens are making an announcement. Your next is not delayed. It's being delivered. So prepare. Prepare your heart. Prepare your hands. Prepare your voice. Because Michael was not just showing you betrayal. He was showing you the end of pretending and the beginning of true positioning. He was showing you that what you lost in human connection, you are about to gain in spiritual covenant. And those who once watched in silence, they will now witness in awe. Because the same God who revealed their shift is now revealing your elevation. The oil you carry is attracting destiny. The favor on your life is summoning restoration. The name they tried to bury is now echoing in rooms they can't enter. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not forgotten. You are becoming visible to the right eyes at the right time. If this message has touched you, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of up to $20. Your support helps us deliver more prophetic clarity to those who need it most. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more divine insights, prophetic words, and supernatural strategy. We're walking through this journey together. Type I am next in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is opening doors for you now. This is the moment. This isn't just a chapter ending. This is the birthing of your divine assignment. You are not standing on the ruins of what collapsed. You are standing at the threshold of what's been prepared. And Michael, the angel who revealed the betrayal, now stands to activate the destiny that betrayal unlocked. There is something sacred about being chosen. It means you are set apart, not just celebrated. It means your process comes with a price, but also with a promise. You've cried over the people who walked away, but what you couldn't see was that their departure was actually your permission slip to step forward. You weren't just being rejected. You were being reassigned. What you lost in human support, you gained in heavenly momentum. Now heaven waits for your yes. This is your moment of decision. Will you continue to grieve the old or embrace the new? Will you remain fixated on what changed or fully yield to the path that's unfolding? Michael speaks now not as just a messenger of warning, but as a divine activator of purpose. He comes with fire in his wings and authority in his breath, saying, "The seal is upon you. You've been tested. Now rise." This moment demands movement. It demands declaration. You must speak your agreement. You must prophesy over your own life. Speak it aloud. I rise. I heal. I walk in truth. These are not just words. They are the keys unlocking your next dimension. They are the echo heaven hath been waiting to hear from your lips. When you say them, you align yourself with the scroll already written. When you declare them, you invite angelic forces to begin motion on your behalf. You are stepping into a new cadence. You are being drafted into divine deployment. And though it may feel unfamiliar, it is not unsafe, because what's waiting for you is what was always meant for you. Every delay was divine. Every loss was strategic. Every silence was a setup. You had to become who you are now before you could carry what's coming next. The moment they shifted was the moment your awakening began. You didn't know it then. You yet felt cold, confused, uncertain. But it was more than feelings. It was a release. A signal to the spirit realm that your chapter had changed. And now, the heavens have made their decision. The mantle is yours. The call is active. The gates are open. You are no longer being trained. You are being released. Pick up your weapons. Not carnal ones, but spiritual. Prayer, word, stillness, vision. These are the tools of your time. Journal what you see. Record your dreams. Fast for clarity. Anoint your hands. Because your authority is no longer theory. It is verified by warfare. You have survived attacks that would have silenced weaker spirits. You have held your ground in rooms that tried to suffocate your purpose. And now the throne room has responded with a commissioning decree. You are ready. This is more than empowerment. This is deployment. Walk in it. Command the atmosphere when you enter. Speak life into the dry places. Declare healing where trauma once lived. You are not just called to recover. You are called to lead others through recovery. You are not just the healed. You are the healer now. The moment they changed was not your ending. It was your activation. Let it go. Let them go. And go forward. Because what's ahead will make you thank God they couldn't stay. Type ISAYYES in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4411 has just unlocked new assignments over your life. What you wept over, heaven was working on. You sat in that room, crying silently, asking why things had changed. But in the unseen dimension, the angels were already negotiating on your behalf. Your sobs didn't go unnoticed. They became evidence. Your heartbreak wasn't just heard, it was measured. And while you wept on earth, a silent exchange was taking place in the heavens. Michael stood before the courts of glory with your name in hand. He presented your tears, your silence, your surrender, and heaven responded. It was in that sacred exchange that what was stolen began to be restored. Peace you lost in confusion is being returned. Time that was wasted on wrong attachments is being redeemed. Joy that was fractured by betrayal is being reignited. Everything that you thought was taken was simply being held until it could be returned in full. This exchange wasn't loud. It didn't happen with lightning or thunder. It happened in the quiet, in the sacred hush between surrender and response. You were distracted by grief, but your spirit was wide awake. While you cried, your soul was still interceding. While you questioned, your spirit was standing in full agreement with your destiny. Because your spirit has always known what your mind couldn't yet comprehend, that something sacred was being arranged. In the spirit realm, doors have opened. Scrolls have been released. The fire of divine approval is now touching your name. The silence you experienced wasn't absence. It was alignment. Angels were moving behind closed veils. Favor was being relocated. Hidden scrolls bearing your name were being pulled from obscurity into manifestation. You couldn't see it, but the activity was fierce. The spirit realm was buzzing with movement, not of chaos, but of divine restoration. And now, as you step forward, you must begin to see with new eyes. What looked like defeat was actually divine negotiation in progress. What felt like abandonment with the Holy Spirit securing your inheritance. While they left, angels arrived. While they turned, doors opened. While you mourned, heaven moved. Let the vision become clear now. Picture angels walking through the ruins of what you thought was lost, picking up the pieces and handing them back to you. Only now, they are refined, upgraded, multiplied. You are not returning to where you were. You are receiving what was reserved for the version of you that could only exist after the fire. You've been tried. You've been tested. And now you've been transferred. The favor is changing lanes. The access is being redirected. The influence is increasing not because you demanded it, but because you passed every unseen test. Heaven has made the exchange, and you are now standing in the reward. But the reward is not just restoration, it's revelation. You now understand what you didn't before. You now see who they really were. You now recognize the signs, the spirits, the patterns. And this revelation is your protection. This clarity is your armor. Because never again will you be blinded by charm, silenced by fear, or misled by appearance. The silent exchange has not only recovered what was lost, it has refined your vision. You're no longer confused. You're calibrated. You're no longer anxious. You're anchored. And even though you still carry the memory of what happened, it no longer controls your steps, because your spirit understands what they meant for harm, God turned into holy transaction. You didn't miss the moment. You were becoming in the moment. The heavens held you while you healed. The angels warred while you waited. And now, you walk not as the wounded, but as the witness to heaven's divine exchange. Type "I receive restoration" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 6161 is unlocking divine repayment now. Justice does not always come loudly. It doesn't always come with noise, chaos, or confrontation. But when heaven moves, it moves in a way no one can stop. Justice is now moving on your behalf. Solely by earthly standards, perhaps, but in the spirit realm, it is swift, exact, and unrelenting. What man delayed, heaven is now delivering. What they thought was forgotten, God never missed. Every seed they sowed, in secrecy, in silence, in shadow, is now being brought to light. And the scales are tipping. You've been patient. You've been quiet. You've walked through injustice, betrayal, manipulation, all without seeking vengeance. And because you didn't take matters into your own hands, God has taken it into His. The reversal has already begun. Where they tried to twist your name, the truth is emerging. Where they tried to steal your joy, God is multiplying your peace. Where they moved against you with subtle sabotage, heaven has released angelic retaliation, not to punish, but to restore. What they built on lies is now crumbling under the weight of divine exposure. There is no need for you to raise your voice. There is no need for you to defend yourself. God says, you won't even need to fight. It's already finished. The court of heaven has already ruled in your favor. The judgment hath been declared. And while they sleep unaware, while they laugh without remorse, while they plot without repentance, the heavens have already initiated the verdict. What they sowed, they now reap. Let them talk. Let them posture. Let them pretend. Because every tongue that rises against you is being judged. Every false word spoken is being retrieved and measured. The very trap they set is the one they'll fall into. The very pit they dug is now their own. And what they thought they got away with, they did. Because heaven never forgets a wounded soul who remained faithful. Now comes the reversal. Power is shifting. Positions are changing. The rejected are being promoted. The overlooked are being crowned. And you, yes, you, the one who almost gave up, the one who felt forgotten, you are being restored in full view. Those who once watched in arrogance will now witness in awe. Those who assumed your silence meant weakness will now see your authority take form. Everything they tried to steal is coming back, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Your vision is returning. Your confidence is being rebuilt. Your spiritual gifts are increasing. What was broken is being made whole. And it's not for revenge. It's for validation from the throne room itself. Because God does not allow His chosen to suffer without reason, and when the reason is complete, the recompense begins. They had a season where it looked like they won. A season where they felt secure in what they'd done. But heaven moves in seasons, too, and this is the season of divine reversal. This is the hour where masks fall, where truth reigns, where secrets surface, and those who operated in darkness will now stumble under the weight of their own choices. You don't need to look back. You don't need to clap back. You don't even need to explain. Because when God defends, no weapon can withstand it. He is not only your witness, He is your warrior. And now, He is your vindicator. Michael stands again, not in mourning but in heavenly triumph. The same archangel who showed you their change is now showing you your divine justice. And he says to you, the watcher now becomes the witnessed. The victim now becomes the vessel of glory. The silence now becomes the sound of reversal. If this message has stirred something in your soul, consider giving a super chat or super thanks with a contribution of up to $5. Your support helps us continue to create powerful, spirit-led content that reaches those who need it most. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure to subscribe for ongoing spiritual guidance, prophetic insight, and divine revelation. We're honored to walk with you. Type I receive justice in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9090 is now surrounding your house with reversal and reward. You were not blind, you were becoming. You were not weak, you were being weighed. And heaven found you faithful. You did not miss the moment out of failure, but because God was sheltering your soul while He refined your spirit. And now, you emerge from this season not as the one who lost, but as the one who was found worthy, found ready, found sealed. Michael's message is now complete. The veil has been lifted. The truth has been shown. What once confused you has now been clarified. What once broke you has now built you into someone the enemy can no longer intimidate. You have walked through a valley of deception, but you've emerged with clarity, strength, and divine backing. Receive this final prayer now. May your eyes remain open, even when others close theirs. May your discernment stay sharp, even when the world dulls its edge. May your peace be rooted, your voice be bold, your presence be holy. May every room you enter sense the weight of heaven that rests upon you. May you never again second-guess what heaven confirms. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. This is your charge. Now rise. Move forward. Reclaim. Reclaim your joy. Reclaim your purpose. Reclaim the time they tried to waste. Reclaim the voice they tried to silence. Reclaim the fire they tried to smother. What heaven has placed in you is unstoppable. What God has sealed over you is irreversible. What Michael has revealed to you is irrevocable. The moment they changed was never about your weakness. It was about your release. So don't chit-chat. Don't explain to deaf ears. Don't prove what God has already affirmed. Just go. Move with clarity. Walk with confidence. Speak with authority. And live like the one who knows heaven never missed a thing. You have heard. You have received. Now go. Walk boldly into your new season. Your journey is just beginning, but now you walk as the one who sees. Send in the comments if this word sealed something in your spirit. Blessing code 3030 has been stamped upon your destiny.